Last time we saw Swamiji's talk at the Rameshwaram temple about the real worship. And Swamiji was telling how standing in the temple or temple premises, Swamiji was making home the point that what is real worship. That simply worshipping God in the temple, in the idol, in the statue is not enough. But worshipping the Shiva in our brothers and sisters who are around us and who are suffering, who are weak, all the animals, all the creation, not just limited beings, but the beings of the whole creation is the true worship of Shiva. Because Shiva is a Pashupati. So all his creatures, serving his creatures means serving Shiva. And then Swamiji comes to Ramnad, wherein he has been given a grand welcome by the Raja. So we will first read what was the welcome address by the Raja to Swami Vivekananda. So this chapter is reply to the address of welcome at Ramnad. We are seeing through these lectures of Swamiji are very important lectures because they are more pertinent to the people of India. These lectures from Colombo to Almora. What he taught in the West about Indian philosophy, Indian culture, Indian religion, Indian history, all those things were relevant to the Western people, mostly. It's not that they were not relevant to us. Of course, all those 4 yogas and other lectures, practical Vedanta lectures, and many other such lectures. So Swamiji gave to the West the idea of Indian religion, Indian people, Indian philosophy. But when he came to India, he did not find the need to give this to Indian people. Because Indian people knew this. They know the Indian philosophy, they know the Indian scriptures, they know their traditions and everything. What they did not know is the importance of that. What they wanted to know, or rather needed to know, was what is the great significance of their tradition and culture and religion and philosophy. So he was trying to bring home this point to them because they have never traveled to the West, they have never lived in the West, they have never interacted with the Western people. And this was a man who had interacted for last 3-4 years in the West in different with the different intellectuals, different philosophers, different religious people. And what he found out that never ever I found anything greater than Indian people and Indian religion. So this he found it was a great discovery for him, that it was a great eye-opener for him, that Swamiji was telling, I have walked half the world, but I could not find anything at par with our Indian philosophy and religion. So when he comes back to India, Indian soil, and keeps his food on the very first place, that is Rameshwara, after coming back, after Colombo, he is very much surcharged with that emotion and surcharged with that faith. He wants to immediately declare to Indian people that how much great they are, that he has found out their greatness, and they should know this, because if something you know, something you have discovered and you don't tell anybody, it cannot be. So every lecture we see, Swamiji is going on again and again, hammering this fact on everybody, on the audience of Indian people, that your great religion, your great traditions, what a great importance it is there. And what are the points he compares and tells. He's giving a proper this thing. It's not just a sentimental this thing, but he is giving a proper analogies, proper examples of the Eastern and Western civilizations, and puts his point. So these lectures are, I think, as Indians, they are most relevant to us. They are like a Bhagavad Gita for us now. The modern Bhagavad Gita, these lectures are, because they are telling us what exactly is relevant to us, what we should do, what we should believe in, what we should follow. All these things they are telling. So this is like, actually this is Sri Krishna telling we all Arjunas, again the Bhagavad Gita in the modern language. So everywhere he travels, we can say as if it is one adhyaya. Wherever, from Colombo to Almora, I think we can say there are 18 adhyayas Swamiji is telling. This is a kind of a modern Bhagavad Gita. And this is not an ordinary scripture, this Swamiji's lectures from Colombo to Almora. These are so profound ideas and so inspiring ideas that you will, while reading them, you will feel like a thrill passing through your whole body. That, oh my God, what is the great idea? I never understood it, I never felt it, I never realized it. I never tried to take time out to go through this. This you'll feel guilty of neglecting these things so far. You will feel as if you have done some great crime, that you never read Swamiji's these great lectures. This is a great crime for an Indian person. Not ever having to read this in the lectures from Colombo to Almora is, I think, according to me, it will be a greatest crime. So we are fortunate enough that we are saved from doing that crime, that we are reading these lectures and his one adhyaya, and we will complete all these 18 adhyayas. So we will be the most fortunate people to have avoided that crime done in this life. If whatever we understand from this is different thing, how much we can take from there, but at least this Bhagavan is standing in front of us to tell Bhagavad Gita, and if Arjuna runs away from there, or he dozes off, or he doesn't give attention, that will be the greatest crime. When Bhagavan is there for you to tell you what you should do, and you are not attending, so what else is the crime? So we are really fortunate to have the opportunity to go through this. Then we'll continue. So the Raja at Ramnath, the following address was presented to Swami Vivekananda by the Raja. His Most Holiness Sri Paramahamsa Yatiraja Digvijay Kolahala Sarvamata Sampratipanna Parama Yogishwara Srimad Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Karakamala Sanjata Rajadhiraja Sevita Sri Vivekananda Swami, may it please your holiness. So many, that Raja is addressing Swamiji with so many adjectives, so many eulogies, that this is a great, their sentiment you can understand, that with what great devotion that Raja had for the Swamiji, who had inspired Swamiji, who had goaded him, who had persuaded him to go to the West before leaving India. It was one of those people who were very much supportive of Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji, I will help you. I will give you whatever help I can to go to the West. So this was the Raja, and after coming back, it is as if, a person putting some investment in something, and he gets 100-fold returns or 1,000-fold returns out of that investment that he never imagined. Like that, he has put an investment in a sannyasi to go to the West, and the Raja got him the 1,000-fold more. He never might have expected that sannyasi is going to go to the West and he is going to become a world prominent spiritual leader and admired by everybody. He might not have dreamt all these things. But when he saw that the whole world is talking about him, the person whom I kept faith in, so it is, what else he will, it will be a surprise if he will not address Swamiji with such adjectives. So then he continues. We, the inhabitants of this ancient and historic samsthanam of Setubandha Rameshwara, otherwise known as Ramanathpuram or Ramanath, beg most cordially to welcome you to this, our motherland. We deem it a very rare privilege to be the first to pay your holiness our heartfelt homage on your landing in India, and that on the shores sanctified by the footsteps of that great hero and our revered Lord, Sri Bhagavan Ramachandra. So they are referring to that great connect which Rameshwaram has. First, it starts with that. See, why Rameshwaram is so holy and so pure and so important is because of that, because of Sri Bhagavan Ramachandra's association with that place. We have watched his feelings of genuine pride and pleasure. We have watched with feelings of genuine pride and pleasure the unprecedented success which has crowned your laudable efforts in bringing home to the masterminds of the West the intrinsic merits and excellence of our time-honored and noble religion. You have, with an eloquence that is unsurpassed and in language plain and unmistakable, proclaimed to and convinced the cultured audiences in Europe and America that Hinduism fulfills all the requirements of the ideal of a universal religion and adapts itself to the temperament and needs of men and women of all races and creeds. Animated purely by a disinterested impulse, influenced by the best of motives and at considerable self-sacrifice, Your Holiness has crossed boundless seas and oceans to convey the message of truth and peace and to plant the flag of India's spiritual triumph and glory in the rich soil of Europe and America. So this was very much unimaginable thing in those days, to cross to do the voyage of 2 to 3 months on the ship, with so many zigzag ways on the ocean. You have to face so much difficulties because sea voyage was not that easy. It used to be very, very tough to undergo that ship journey. When Turiyananji Maharaj accompanied Swamiji on the second time, when he again went to the West, Turiyananji Maharaj suffered like anything because he had that sickness, ocean sickness or traveling sickness of that. He had to continuously had vomiting and all, so many things. So it was so difficult. Nowadays it is not at all, but in those days, it is like a venture which nobody will know whether you will come back alive. So many sufferings you have to undergo. So such kind of, they knew all these things, those people. So they are praising him, Swamiji, see Swamiji, taking such hardships you have gone there and proved the greatness of our religion and our motherland. Your Holiness has, both by precept and practice, shown the feasibility and importance of universal brotherhood. Above all, your labors in the West have indirectly and to a great extent tended to awaken the apathetic sons and daughters of India to a sense of the greatness and glory of their ancestral faith, and to create in them a genuine interest in the study and observance of their dear and priceless religion. So this is such a wonderful note of, it is a kind of note of welcome also, note of thanks also to Swamiji, and note of glorifying also his great contribution. We feel we cannot adequately convey in words our feelings of gratitude and thankfulness to Your Holiness for your philanthropic labors towards the spiritual regeneration of the East and the West. We cannot close this address without referring to the great kindness which Your Holiness has always extended to our Raja, who is one of your devoted disciples. And the honor and pride he feels by this gracious act of Your Holiness in landing first on his territory is indescribable. In conclusion, we pray to the Almighty to bless Your Holiness with long life and health and strength to enable you to carry on the good work that has been so ably inaugurated by you. With respects and love, we beg to subscribe ourselves, Your Holiness's most devoted and obedient disciples and servants. Ramnath, 25th January 1897. So this was on 25th January 1897 that this address was presented. Then Swamiji's reply that we will go through now. The Swami's reply follows in extenso. This is now Swamiji is beginning with a great, he is touching the chords of Indian people. This is a very most famous and very inspiring paragraph he starts with. This is in Swamiji's literature, this is one of the best poetries of Swamiji actually. This is a poetry which on the fly he creates. Swamiji was a poet. So when he starts the address, he starts with a great poetry on India, and this is really inspiring this thing. Note. So Swamiji starts. The longest night seems to be passing away. The sorest trouble seems to be coming to an end at last. The seeming corpse appears to be awakening, and a voice is coming to us, away back where history and even tradition fails to peep into the gloom of the past. Coming down from there, reflected as it were, from peak to peak of the infinite Himalaya of knowledge and of love and of work, India, this motherland of ours, a voice is coming unto us, gentle, firm, and yet unmistakable in its utterances, and is gaining volume as days pass by. And behold, the sleeper is awakening. Like a breeze from the Himalayas, it is bringing life into the almost dead bones and muscles. The lethargy is passing away, and only the blind cannot see, or the perverted will not see, that she is awakening, this motherland of ours, from her deep, long sleep. None can resist her anymore. Never is she going to sleep anymore. No outward powers can hold her back anymore, for the infinite giant is rising to her feet. So this Swamiji says, when he is being addressed with in a glorious terms, and he is responding to Indian people, he is full of that emotion, he is full of that great feeling, in his heart. And when he starts, it looks like the way he starts, he is transported into, as if narrating the entire history of India into few words. This shows that he's like in a very great poetry. This does not look like a prose. It looks like a poetry, and he's telling the entire history of humanity, of Indian humanity, into this one single paragraph, and how this India is rising. He is telling. Then he continues. Your Highness and Gentlemen of Ramnath, accept my heartfelt thanks for the cordiality and kindness with which you have received me. I feel that you are cordial and kind, for heart speaks unto heart better than any language of the mouth. Spirit speaks into spirit in silence, and yet in most unmistakable language. And I feel it is in my heart of hearts. I feel it in my heart of hearts. Your Highness of Ramnath, if there has been any work done by my humble self in the cause of our religion and our motherland in the Western countries, if any little work has been done in rousing the sympathies of our own people by drawing their attention to the inestimable jewels that they know not are lying deep buried about their own home, if instead of dying of thirst and drinking dirty ditch water elsewhere out of the blindness of ignorance, they are being called to go and drink from the eternal fountain, which is flowing perennially by their own homes. If anything has been done to rouse our people towards action, to make them understand that in everything, religion and religion alone is the life of India, and when that goes, India will die, in spite of politics, in spite of social reforms, in spite of Kubera's wealth poured upon the head of every one of our children. If anything has been done towards this end, India and every country where any work has been done, owe much of it to you, Raja of Ramnath. For it was you who gave me the idea first, and it was you who persistently urged me on towards the work. You, as it were, intuitively understood what was going to be, and took me by the hand, and helped me all along, and have never ceased to encourage me. Well is it, therefore, that you should be the first to rejoice at my success, and meet it is that I should first land in your territory on my return to India. So this is another wonderful note of gratitude given to his own disciple, who though he may be a Raja, but still he is a disciple and he is a sadhu. So but Swamiji's greatness, he is so humble. He is expressing, he is giving all the greatness of his own to the Raja of Ramnath. He is telling, you are great, that you saw something in me and you believed in me and you sent me off to West, you urged me, everything is greatness is yours. I am just, as a result of your greatness, you are seeing something in me that I am here today as a successful. As if he is expressing this. This is the greatness of that great sannyasi who was so down to earth, so humble, that he never took any greatness to himself. He always gave it to others. This way, he's always giving, he's again giving the greatness to India also. So whatever I did in the West, whatever I preached, it was not mine. I did not do anything. What I did is just whatever India has earned all these thousands of years, whatever philosophy, religion, thought, whatever our rishis and sages have been sacrificing their life for, I just carried it there. I just told those people about that. I did not do anything of my own innovation. It was not my some individual discovery that I told there. Just like those scientific discoveries, they want to tell their own names. We see Newton's law. Why? Because Newton invented it, as if it was never existed before Newton. And Newton, something new he brought out, so that eternally we have to call it Newton's law. This is not, Swamiji is not quoting. Nobody of all these laws, that spiritual laws that Indian people have derived, nobody told their names behind those laws. So many profound laws in the scriptures, but nobody told their names. And Swamiji is telling, I am nobody, but I have just carried this greatness of India to the West. And what greatness Swamiji is saying? See, I come back to tell people that behind, just near their homes, there is an eternal fountain of pure water. So they did not go into dirty ditch water, which is far away. Means that Western civilization and Western culture, that is dirty ditch water. And they need not go and drink because they are thirsty. They should not go and drink that dirty ditch water, which is far away, the Western, and leave their own eternal fountain of purity, which is passing by their own homes. So leaving that, if you are quenching your thirst by going and seeking shelter in Western culture and Western thought and Western philosophy and religion, then who else should take pity on you apart from Swamiji like person? So that is what Swamiji is trying to say. See, this was the sentiment that he was telling, that when he said, instead of dying of thirst and drinking dirty ditch water elsewhere out of blindness of ignorance, you people are great. You are those who are continuously drinking this eternal fountain and not going to take that dirty ditch water. So this is what he is pointing towards, which is flowing perennially by their own homes. Swamiji says, if anything has been done to rouse our people into action, towards action, to make them understand that in everything, religion and religion alone is the life of India. And when that goes, India will die, in spite of politics, in spite of social reforms, in spite of all Kubera's wealth poured upon the head of every one of our children. If anything has been done towards this end, India and every country, so this again he is telling. So if anything has been done to make Indians understand this, that religion is the only crux of their life. Religion is the only pulse of their life, because whatever else happens, whatever politics, social reforms and Kubera's wealth and everything, they won't be able to survive, because this is not their life, it is not their pulse. So it is proven, the time tested history tells us, thousands of years of history, that never India could leave aside religion, never could it leave aside spirituality. Whatever wealth came, powers came, empires came, everything came, but nobody could survive here. Nobody could survive. Only religion survived. Nothing else survived. So this is what Swamiji is trying to tell. That you, however you bang your heads and try to convince yourself otherwise, that no, this time we will make it different. This time we will go after money. This time we will go after power. This time we will go after something else. You won't be successful. So even if your bank accounts are sent, if somebody sends today in your bank account 15 lakh rupees, and everybody, all Indian people have 15 lakh rupees in their bank accounts. So still, what will happen? It will be of no use. Still, those Indian people will not be happy, because their happiness is not in that Kubera's wealth. What is their happiness in? Unless they become religious, they won't be happy. This is the pulse of India that Swamiji is trying to convince. Then he continues. Great works are to be done. Wonderful powers have to be worked out. We have to teach our nations many things, as has been said already by Your Highness. This is the motherland of philosophy, of spirituality and of ethics, of sweetness, gentleness and love. These still exist, and my experience of the world leads me to stand on firm ground and make the bold statement that India is still the first and foremost of all nations of the world in these respects. Look at this little phenomena. There have been immense political changes within the last 4 or 5 years. Gigantic organizations undertaking to subvert the whole of existing institutions in different countries and meeting with a certain amount of success have been working all over the Western world. Ask our people if they have heard anything about them. They have heard not a word about them. So Swamiji is telling, so many things happened in the West in the last few years. It is happening in the last few decades. But nobody knows in India what is happening there. So many Europeans gigantic organizations are being formed. America is mobilizing so many gigantic organizations. It is becoming the most powerful country, and it is moving American and Western civilization, European civilization. So many things are happening. They are coming together. They are building new things. They are innovating new technologies and everything. But nobody knows in India about it. Nobody has any air. What is happening in the West, in Europe and America. But Swamiji continues. But that there was a Parliament of Religions in Chicago, and that there was a sannyasin sent over from India to that Parliament, that he was very well received, and since that time has been working in the West. The poorest beggar has known. So nobody knows anything about other things, but everybody in India knew that there was such and such sannyasi who had been sent, who had gone to represent our religion, and he has been successful. That everybody had catch hold of this fact. They used to grab the newspapers, and wherever there will be headlines telling about Swamiji's success, Swamiji's lecture in some city in America, and how much audiences he received, what he spoke on, then people used to have a lot of interest, and they used to talk about it among themselves. They used to spread this news. They used to write articles on the articles that are published in the newspapers, American newspapers. They used to write here on the basis, Swami Vivekananda has done this, he has done this contribution. So it is a secondary literature is creating here, is formed here, on the basis of the newspaper, just newspaper cuttings or reports. So here books are being written, or probably lectures are being given on the basis of those newspaper cuttings. Probably so many congregations and sabhas and lecture series must have been organized by different people in different states to just celebrate this event. And thereby every person, every peasant, probably every person in every walk of life was informed that something great has happened. What was that great thing? We recently read that Swamiji delivered a talk in Boston, Swamiji delivered a talk in Pennsylvania, Swamiji delivered a talk here and there, and so on and so forth, London, and like this. So here that is making a talk of the town, it becomes. So this is the Swamiji is telling. See, what a wonderful thing Swamiji is telling. That I am seeing, when I came back and landed here, everybody is talking about only my success. They don't know anything about America. They don't know anything about Europe, what is happening there. But they know everything what I did there, where I lectured, what I lectured, as if. If I ask them, if I tell them that do you know I was there in America? Sir, I know already. We know you went there and you talked like this, as if they are well informed about Swamiji's all happenings. So that is his praises. I have heard it said that our masses are dense, that they do not want any education, and that they do not care for any information. I had at one time a foolish leaning towards that opinion myself, but I find experience is a far more glorious teacher than any amount of speculation or any amount of books written by globetrotters and hasty observers. So Swamiji says, I myself thought that Indian people are ignorant. Indian people are fools. But later on, after going through the whole world, I understood, no, they are not. This experience teaches me that they are not dense, that they are not slow, that they are as eager and thirsty for information as any race under the sun. But then each nation has its own part to play, and naturally Each nation has its own peculiarity and individuality with which it is born. Each represents, as it were, one peculiar note in this harmony of nations. And this is its very life, its vitality. In it is the backbone, the foundation, and the bedrock of the national life. And here, this blessed land, the foundation, the backbone, the life center is religion and religion alone. And that is why the people want information. But what information they like, what information they grab hold of is about religion. They don't care about what political reformations are happening in Europe, what political party is leading in America. That they are not interested. What they will do with that? Americans will be very much interested. What politics is happening in India, or what politics is happening in Southeast Asia, or what politics is happening in Australia or other places. That America and Europe is very much interested. But Indians peoples are not interested. On the other hand, what Indians are interested? Oh, acha, what religious revivals are happening? What spiritual revivals are happening? What spiritual thoughts are there? What different sadhanas are there? What different rituals are there? What ways of worship are there? What are different gods that they can worship? If they can add one more god, they will be very interested. In their millions of gods already, if they get one more god, they will jump on him. They will not feel shy of grabbing hold of that god and worshipping him. And they will develop new worship techniques of the worshipping that god. So Swamiji is telling our interest, and we are very much well informed, and we are enthusiastic, we are energetic, everything. We are not dull people. I thought previously that we are dull. Because Western people, according to Western eyes, I was seeing that we Indian people are dull. But when I actually went around, then I saw no. We people, even our peasant and farmer and the beggar also knows everything. About what? About religion and spirituality and about worships and deities and temples and this and that. So this is what is a life force. This is what he is. Again and again this thing comes back. But while telling this, he will bring in his own mission into it. Okay, this is okay. How much I will go on praising you. Okay, every day morning I get up and start praising you till night and I go to sleep. Again next day I get up and praise you for your. This won't help anything. Simply praising and simply telling you the significance. We have to work out now. We have to work out how these actual assets that we have, how to use these assets and work out our betterment, work out our civilizational progress, work out our national progress, and how to evolve. So this plan of his whole work, whatever he has worked out in his brain, he is going to put out. But before putting it, he has to first make a foundation. First he has to convince the Indian people that what you have, you are not just useless people. That Western people are continuously trying to tell you that you don't know anything. We will come and teach you. You are barbarians. You are like tribals. You are this and that. You don't have any culture and civilization. That they are telling, and that's why we took it. And it's not, even after Swamiji telling this so much, still Indian people did not listen to him. They still went, and even now they are suffering from that mistake. That Swamiji, well in advance, he had warned. See, don't go and take that dirty ditch water. There is a perennial source of pure water flowing by near your home. But he had warned this. But still, out of that childish curiosity, Indian people simply jumped on that dirty ditch water, and they got entangled into it. Now they are realizing, oh no, we were great, but now what to do? Now that roundabout way we have to take and come back to the main track. Once you lose the way, then it takes more time to come back to the main road, main highway. So that's what Swamiji is telling. Let others talk of politics, of the glory of acquisition of immense wealth poured in by trade, of the power and spread of commercialism, of the glorious fountain of physical liberty. But these the Hindu mind does not understand and does not want to understand. Touch him on spirituality, on religion, on God, on the soul, on the infinite, on spiritual freedom, and I assure you, the lowest peasant in India is better informed on these subjects than many a so-called philosopher in other lands. I have said, gentlemen, that we have yet something to teach to the world. This is the very reason, the raison d'etre, that this nation has lived on, in spite of hundreds of years of persecution, in spite of nearly 1,000 years of foreign rule and foreign oppression. This nation still lives. The raison d'etre is, it still holds to God. The very reason of existence, raison d'etre, is that Swamiji is telling. What is our reason to exist? Is that holding on to God, to the treasure house of religion and spirituality. This is our reason to exist. This is our reason to live, to hold on to life. What is that? That very reason is religion and spirituality. What is the motive force that takes Indian civilization? Every civilization will have motive force. Western civilizational motive force is going and conquering other lands, going and making their empires, going and establishing their administrations, and going and changing the educational institutions, the administrative institutions of those lands, and run those countries as if they think themselves. Their motive force behind Western civilizations is that we have to go and run things. They think that we are, as if we are, our motive to live is to go conquer other people and teach them how to live. They don't know. Nobody apart from us knows how to live, how to conduct themselves. So all these things we have to go and teach. This is they think that bounden duty. On the contrary, what is Indians' bounden duty? Indians feel the bounden duty to practice religion and spirituality. That is, they feel this is bounden duty. This is the only motive force they think. Apart from that, absolutely nothing as such enamors them. Nothing will attract them. Nothing will grab their attention. But wherever religion and spirituality is there, they will, by default, by their very genetic structure, they will go and jump on it. So this is Swamiji's telling that this motive force of our civilization is religion and spirituality. In this land are still religion and spirituality the fountains which will have to overflow and flood the world to bring in new life and new vitality to the Western and other nations, which are now almost burned down, half killed and degraded by political ambitions and social scheming. So, okay, now they have their motive force to conquer other nations and to do administration there, to run the governments there. This is what they think, that going there and running governments there is their job. What we will do is, we will go and conquer them. We will also conquer, but with what? With our religion and spirituality. This is what now it is our duty, that we have to overflow and flood the world to bring in new life, because simply establishing governments in different continents, what is the use of that? After you govern people, what is the end of that? What is the final logical conclusion? Nothing will happen. Only you will keep governing, unless you give religion and spirituality to those people, unless you give something which is beyond death to those people. Otherwise, Western civilization gives the format to live only till you have life. How to live life, they will work out details about it. They will have boardroom meetings, they will have conference hall meetings, and they will go on a lot of things, how to do this, how to administrate this thing, how to do that. But this is about only this life, only about this body. But what about later, afterlife? What about after death? So this Indian people know. We know what to do after death. So we will go and teach them. We will give them a long-term ideal for them. So because that, without having that ideal, they will be half killed. What Swami says, you see, they are born down, half killed and degraded by political ambition and social scheming. Just this much, if you do only politics, only social scheming and institutions and organizations, what they will take care of is only life in this world. Okay, they will take care. But after life, they won't be able to take care. They don't know how to take care. They have no expertise in that. But Indian people have this expertise. So what it is our duty now has come, the time has come, Swamiji says, is to exploit this expertise to completely flood this world with our ideas, with our religion, with our spirituality. So that's what he is telling, that their religion is of no use to us. We have enough religion. That's what Swamiji told when he went to America, that don't give us your religion. We have plenty, it is overflowing. Now there is no space in our pot to hold any other religion inside. Already it is overflowing. So don't tell us about religion and spirituality. Don't sermonize. Our peasants and beggars are also knowing about it. What you take from this is what you take from us, and what you give to us is this thing. How do you organize? How you meticulously do things? How you with a great teamwork you have? Wonderfully you can work together. But we Indian people, because we are already spiritual, we have that spiritual freedom so much ingrained in our genes, in our cells, in our bones, that freedom makes us think that we don't need anybody's help. We don't need to work with somebody. We don't need to cooperate with anybody. We don't need to serve anybody. I am my own person. This kind of inborn tendency is Indian mind, that he thinks that he's free always. So that sense of freedom, he doesn't. He is very difficult to work with. He is difficult to live with, that Indian person. Because of that, so much thousands of years of spirituality and religion in him, he has kind of taken it, he has gotten into his head. So we need that from you. What we have to learn from you is how to become more, work in a team, how to work in a group, how to work in cooperation. That cooperative institutions that you are forming here, massive, gigantic institutions, this idea I want to bring into India. How to work in a cooperation and work towards one goal, one common goal. This is something we could never do so far. That's why we are scattered as societies. We have so many different kingdoms and so many different cultures, so many different these things, and everybody fighting with each other. Oh, you are a Shaivite, I am a Vaishnavite, you are this, you are that, you are a Northern, I am Southern, I am Eastern and Western and this and like that. In India itself, we are having this. We cannot work together. We cannot come together as Indians, as Hindus. So Swamiji wants that from them. So he will, later on we will come to that. Swamiji wants this to tell Indian people that what we want to learn from the West is this ability to come together, to organize and to go towards a common goal. To lead, to have our individual aspirations, individual ideals, individual dreams, but those dreams not at the cost of our countrymen, not at the cost of our own brothers. We should take those dreams, work them out so that all of us can fulfill our dreams and take the entire Indian society and progress together. This thing he wants that to be learned by the Indian people from the Western people. So we will complete this paragraph. From out of the many voices, consonant and dissentient, from out of the medley of sounds filling the Indian atmosphere, rises up supreme, striking and full one note, and that is renunciation. Give up. That is the watchword of the Indian religions. This world is a delusion of 2 days. The present life is of 5 minutes. Beyond is the infinite. Beyond this world of delusion, let us seek that. So this is what is Indians, this thing. That what is the watchword is renunciation. Give up. This is 5 minutes life. Why to break our head for 5 minutes of this thing? Why to go on detailing so much? Why to go on organizing? And this is what Indian temperament is. Because we are thinking about aeons and kalpas and yugas and this, and our mindset is not about some few years, 10, 20, planning of 10, 20 years. We plan in yugas, we plan in kalpas, what next kalpa, this Manu will come, in the next kalpa that Manu will come, then these deities will come. So many are already formatted, everything is already ready with us. All 100 years of Brahma and which Manu will, Manvantara, which Manu will, everything is already known to us. So we don't take much these things about happenings in the world. Some wars are happening, something is happening, this will all go, then next Manu will come, then the Pralaya will happen, everything we know. What is there to bother about? This is Indian mentality. So we are, our watchword is renounce this. Why are you so much holding on to this life of 5 minutes? This is a life of delusion. This Indian person knows. In his heart, this feeling is always there in him. Beyond is the infinite, beyond this world of delusion. Let us seek that. So he is seeking that. This continent is illumined with brave, gigantic minds and intelligences, which even think of this so-called infinite universe as only a mud puddle. Beyond and still beyond they go. So what they think entire universe as a mud puddle. So Swamiji uses this term very much. He uses in our arati also now that we are having Sandhya arati. In there also he says That sentence is गोष्पद वारी यथाय संपद तव श्रीपद भव गोष्पद वारी यथाय. So that sampada tava shripada, after I will get shelter at your holy feet, he's telling Guru Maharaj that as after getting the grace and when I take shelter at your holy feet, sampada tava shripada, then when I get those holy feet, bhava goshpada variyatha, I feel as if the entire Brahmanda, entire samsara is goshpada, as a mud puddle. They say that when the cow walks and her this thing is there, her foot is put in a mud, this thing, then that much space there will be a little water will be stagnant there. So that is a mud puddle. So this, if you get the grace of Guru, Swamiji is telling in the arati that by getting your grace, I feel as if the entire samsara is nothing but a mud puddle. For me, you are infinite, and after getting the grace of the infinite, I find it so little, This whole samsara is just like a mud puddle. So the same sentiment here also he says. Beyond and still beyond they go. Time, even infinite time, is to them but non-existence. Beyond and beyond time they go. Space is nothing to them. Beyond that they want to go. And this going beyond is phenomenal. Beyond the phenomenal is the very soul of religion. The characteristic of my nation is this transcendentalism, this struggle to go beyond, this daring to tear the veil off the face of nature and have it at any risk, at any price, a glimpse of the beyond. That is our ideal. But of course, all the people in a country cannot give up entirely. Do you want to enthuse them? Then here is the way to do so. Your talks of politics, of social regeneration, your talks of money making and commercialism, all these will roll off like water from a duck's back. The spirituality, then, is what you have to teach the world. Have we to learn anything else? Have we to learn anything from the world? We have, perhaps, to gain a little in material knowledge, in the power of organization, in the ability to handle powers, organizing powers, in bringing the best results out of the smallest of causes. This perhaps to a certain extent we may learn from the West. But if anyone preaches in India the ideal of eating and drinking and making merry, if anyone wants to apotheosize the material world into a god, means divinize, if anyone wants to divinize the material world into a god, that man is a liar. He has no place in this holy land. The Indian mind does not want to listen to him. Hey, in spite of the sparkle and glitter of Western civilization, in spite of all its polish and its marvelous manifestation of power, standing upon this platform, I tell them to their face that it is all vain. It is vanity of vanities. God alone lives, the soul alone lives, spirituality alone lives. Hold on to that. So Swamiji is again and again, as we were talking, that his whole emphasis, his whole reiteration is about this great asset of ours that we have to hold on to, that spirituality, that soul, that God. So we'll continue after alternate Sundays. So maybe next month that new timetable will come, and that this lecture we will continue. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.